explicitly says, because like you said, it says very little on its own. The real insight, I think, the valuable nugget, is in what it makes us think about, what it forces us to question about language, about thought itself.
Okay, so the process is the nugget.
In a way, yes. Since mouse is the only thing we have, the deep dive becomes less about combining different sources and more about intensely examining this one single thing, its presence, and all the possibilities packed inside it. This source, maybe more than any other we could imagine, it demands questions instead of giving answers.
Let's try a quick thought experiment. If mouse is all we've got, what kinds of questions can we ask to generate meaning?
Right.
We could look at its history, its etymology, trace it back, Old English mousse, Proto-Germanic mousse, connecting it way back to the animal.
Okay, the history route.
Or we could explore its cultural weight. Think about Mickey Mouse, obviously, or the whole mouse in the house idea in stories, Aesop's fable, the mouse and the lion, that kind of thing.
Symbolism, yeah.
Or even ask something totally different, like, what would a minimalist artist do if their only material was the idea of mouse? How would they represent it? That's a great way to put it. So it really is about the questioning the approach, not just absorbing facts. So, okay, our show talks about being a shortcut to being well-informed. How does that work here? How do you get well-informed about mouse? This whole exercise kind of forces us to rethink what well-informed even means when you're dealing with such extreme sparseness.
Exactly.
Is it about knowing facts? Or is it more about understanding how facts work, how information works, how we work with information? It definitely challenges the usual definition.
Precisely. And this deep dive really highlights how the process of learning, the method of thinking critically, is just as vital as the actual content. Can real insight, genuine knowledge come from looking at what seems like an absence of information, or just from intensely studying one single thing that's undeniably there? Our little exploration of mouse suggests, yeah, it can. The value of being rigorous, of thinking critically, it doesn't disappear when the topic seems simple. If anything, it's maybe even more important. It demands more from us mentally because there aren't easy answers laid out.
So instead of being swamped by too much info, we're kind of provoked by too little, like a mental exercise.
Big workout.
This forces us to ask not just what does this mean, but, okay, what could it mean? And crucially, what does that whole process of asking reveal about how we understand things in the first place? Right. Let's bring this back around directly to you, the listener. You're here, presumably, because you want to get knowledge quickly, but also deeply. How do you normally react when information is scarce? Do you immediately hunt for more data, or do you ever just pause and think about what that lack or that single piece might be telling you on its own?
This whole dive into mouse, it's a pretty unique lesson in engaging critically, isn't it? It shows that sometimes the trickiest information is where the real learning happens.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like what does this all mean? It really underlines that true understanding isn't just about passively downloading facts someone else prepared.
It's fundamentally about the active work you do. Processing, interpreting. The word mouse isn't telling you what to think. It's basically demanding that you think. It's a direct call for critical thinking. And that skill, that mental muscle you build by wrestling with something like this, it's useful for any information you encounter, no matter how much there is. And this source, this specific exercise, it also helps us get comfortable with ambiguity.
That's a good point.
We often want things clear-cut, right? Nice, neat answers. But sometimes the most useful lesson is just accepting that full context isn't there. And then exploring, okay, what does that absence imply? Finding value in that space between the known and unknown. It teaches us to find depth even when something looks simple on the surface. How one word, if you really focus on it, can actually spark some pretty complex, even philosophical thoughts without needing anything else around it.
Yeah, exactly. So this deep dive, okay, yes, it was based on very unusual source material, but it ended up being this really potent exercise in understanding the absolute basics of information, interpretation, and critical thinking. It pushes us to look past just the surface content and think about the machinery underneath. How do we even start to make sense of anything? So what does this mean for you,